What truly scares us isn't always monsters or blood. Sometimes it's a sound when no one should be there. Sometimes it's silence that feels too heavy. Horror isn't just a genre, it's an emotion. And across decades, filmmakers have captured that emotion in unforgettable ways. These aren't just scary movies. These are the ones that get under your skin and stay there. Here are the 50 greatest ghost and supernatural horror movies ever made. Each one is a masterpiece of fear. 50. The Skeleton Key, 2005. A hospice nurse moves into a mysterious Louisiana plantation home and discovers the household's secrets tied to old Southern magic. This one thrives on mood, not jump scares, and that ending stays with you. 49. The Wailing, 2016. A remote Korean village is struck by a mysterious sickness. As paranoia spreads, so does something much darker. Possession, folklore, and evil so layered, you're left breathless by the finale. 48. The Innkeepers, 2011. A pair of employees at a nearly empty, closing-down hotel try to prove the building is haunted. And slowly, it proves it to them. A slow burn that suddenly grabs you when you least expect it. 47th. Ghost Stories, 2017. A skeptic investigates 3 paranormal cases that slowly unravel his beliefs and his sanity. A masterclass in storytelling that messes with your mind and emotions. 46. The Boy, 2016. A woman is hired to babysit a porcelain doll. She thinks it's a joke, until the doll starts moving. An eerie, atmospheric film that flips its premise in a bold way by the 3rd act. 45th. Things Heard and Seen, 2021. A couple moves to a quiet town, but their house whispers more than just creaks. Atmospheric and tragic, it explores how spirits and human darkness often mirror each other. 44th. Sinister, 2012. A true crime writer discovers old home videos, all of which end in death. One of the most unsettling horror movies of its decade, with visuals that burn into your memory. 43rd. A Tale of Two Sisters, 2003. Beautiful, haunting, and emotionally complex. A girl returns home from a mental hospital to confront a traumatic past, but nothing is as it seems. A slow unravel of psychological horror. 42. The Medium, 2021. Filmed like a documentary, this Thai horror film slowly pulls you into a terrifying tale of ancestral spirits and possessions that feel disturbingly real. 41. Don't Listen, 2020. In this Spanish horror story, a man hears whispers through his son's baby monitor. What starts as grief transforms into a battle with something much darker and ancient. 40. The Canal, 2014. A film archivist uncovers footage revealing a horrific crime that occurred in his home. Then things begin to spiral. Moody, grim, and relentless. 39. The Blackcoat's Daughter, 2015. 2 girls are left alone at a boarding school during winter break. One starts acting strange. This film builds a quiet, creeping dread that suddenly hits you like a punch. 38. The Pact, 2012. A woman returns to her childhood home after her mother's death and begins seeing things. A hidden room, a buried secret, a ghost, or something worse. 37. The Changeling, 1980. One of the best haunted house films of all time. After losing his family, a composer moves into a mansion and discovers he's not alone. Classic, elegant horror. 36. The Haunting, 1963. Forget the remakes. This black and white original tells the story of a group invited to a haunted mansion. The terror is in what you don't see. And that's what makes it timeless. 35. The Awakening, 2011. Post-World War I. England. A skeptic ghost debunker visits a boarding school to disprove hauntings. But this time, the ghosts may be real and personal. 34th Session, 9. 2001. A crew cleans out an abandoned asylum, and madness begins to seep in. The atmosphere is so thick you'll feel claustrophobic watching it. One of the most underrated horrors ever made. 33rd. Veronica, 2017. Based on a real police report in Spain, this film follows a teenage girl who plays with a Ouija board during a solar eclipse. What follows is relentless and tragic. 31. Mama, 2013. Two girls are found in the woods claiming to have been raised by Mama. When their new family takes them in, so does something else. A ghost story with heart and horror? 30th. Insidious, 2010. A child falls into an unexplainable coma, and his parents discover he's not asleep. He's lost in a realm called the Further. This film doesn't just scare, it invades your senses with clever visuals and sound design. 29. The Others, 2001. A woman lives with her photosensitive children in a dark old mansion. As strange events escalate, the final twist redefines the entire movie. Quietly terrifying and beautifully acted. 28th. Hereditary, 2018. It begins with grief, then spirals into generational curses, possession, and a descent so harrowing it feels personal. Every frame is filled with dread. This isn't horror, it's devastation. 27. The Sixth Sense, 1999. A boy says he can see dead people. His child psychologist tries to help, but who really needs saving? A haunting film that builds emotion and terror simultaneously, and then flips everything in the last 10 minutes. 26. Ouija, Origin of Evil, 2016. Set in the 1960s, a fake medium begins using a real Ouija board. What follows is a surprisingly well-crafted descent into terror with moments that truly stick in your mind. 25th Pulse, 2001. What if ghosts could come through the internet? That's the premise of this eerie Japanese film. An early warning about isolation in the digital age. Haunting in more ways than one. 24. The Devil's Backbone, 2001. A ghost haunts a boy at an orphanage during the Spanish Civil War. Directed by Guillermo del Toro, it's as poetic as it is frightening, with themes of memory, innocence, and trauma. 23. The Orphanage, 2007. A woman returns to the orphanage where she grew up, but her son vanishes. She believes the ghost of her past might be involved. It's heartbreaking, mysterious, and deeply haunting. 22nd. Dead Silence, 2007. A ventriloquist dummy named Billy, an old poem about silence, and a woman whose scream kills. This stylish horror might be underrated, but it delivers with eerie visuals and unforgettable atmosphere. 21st. It Follows, 2014. You're being stalked by something. It walks toward you, always slowly but never stops. This terrifying metaphor for guilt, trauma, and fear takes ghost stories to a deeply psychological place. 20th. Lake Mungo, 2008. A found footage style. Australian film that feels too real. After a girl drowns, her family begins to experience strange things. But the final twist is pure existential dread. 19th. Noroi, The Curse, 2005. A documentary filmmaker uncovers a bizarre supernatural case in Japan. It's slow, unsettling, and by the end, you feel like you watched something truly cursed. 18. Ju-On, The Grudge, 2002. A curse spreads like a virus through people who enter a haunted house. With its iconic ghostly woman and sound design, this Japanese horror became a genre-defining global success. 17. The Innocents, 1961. A governess becomes convinced the children in her care are possessed. Shot in rich black and white, this film turns the unspoken into terror. It's subtle psychological horror at its best. 16. Nicole Kidman's film. This earlier version was just as effective in crafting eerie atmospheres and classic ghost visuals long before CGI existed. 15. The Ring, 2002. A cursed videotape kills the viewer in 7 days. This American adaptation of Ringu brought J-horror to global mainstream and still holds up thanks to its disturbing imagery and myth-building. 14. The Devil's Doorway, 2018. Shot like a real documentary in an Irish Magdalen laundry, this low-budget film uses found footage to deliver slow-building terror rooted in real-life religious horror. 13. The Uninvited, 1944. One of the earliest Hollywood films to treat ghosts seriously. A brother and sister move into a house that seems to cry at night. Classic haunted house filmmaking, done with elegance and suspense. 12. The Vigil, 2019. A man watches over the body of a deceased community member as part of a Jewish tradition. But this night, something ancient and malicious has come for both of them. 11. The Babadook, 2014. A mother reads her son a strange book. Then the monster in the book begins to haunt them both. But this isn't just a ghost story, and it's about grief, mental health, and motherhood's dark corners. 10. The Blair Witch Project, 1999. They went into the woods to find a legend. They found something else. With a minuscule budget, this found footage film redefined horror and convinced audiences it was real. 9. Ghostwatch, 1992. A fake BBC documentary aired on Halloween night, and thousands believed it was real. A haunted house investigation goes wrong on live TV. It was so convincing it got banned. 8th Ringu, 1998. Before The Ring, there was this. The original Japanese horror that made videotapes terrifying. Minimalistic, poetic, and rooted in cultural lore. 7. A man mourning his family uncovers a dark secret in a haunted house. From the sound of a bouncing ball to the slow reveals, this film remains one of the best examples of grief meets ghost storytelling. 6. The Eye, 2002. After a blind woman receives a cornea transplant, she starts seeing dead people. But what she sees isn't random. It's a story she didn't ask to inherit. 5. The Others, 2001. Yeah, again. It deserves to be mentioned twice. Because few ghost stories match the elegance, quiet tension, and masterful twist this film delivers. 4. A Ghost Story, 2017. A man dies and becomes a ghost under a simple white sheet. What follows is a poetic, heartbreaking, and philosophical meditation on time, memory, and letting go. Not horror in the loud sense, but deeply haunting. 3. The Shining, 1980. A man, a hotel, a winter that never ends. Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece blends madness, ghosts, and isolation into one of the most dissected films ever made. Horror elevated to cinema art. 2. The Exorcist, 1973. Still terrifying after all these years. A young girl possessed, a priest battling doubt, a mother desperate. This film isn't just about fear, it's about confronting the unknown, the power of fear and faith. 1. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. A woman suspects her pregnancy is unnatural. As paranoia builds, so does something far more sinister. This film doesn't scream at you, it whispers, and those whispers are chilling. An absolute classic that changed horror forever. These are more than just horror movies. They are experiences. Memories that sit in the corners of your room long after the credits roll.